Dead by Daylight's one of those games that's been around long enough that trends come and go. Like how everybody used to say Skull Merchant's design was hideous, or how Freddy is an F-tier killer. Well, in 2024, there's a new one. The Wishlist, a comprehensive list of categories throughout all of media, created by The Walking Dead by Daylight on Twitter, whose list is listed here. With other YouTubers seeing this list, like Das Food, and creating YouTube videos around it. So I saw that and said, wait, I could do that. So my list is so much better. So here it is. Okay. Now, you can't see it right now, but you guys are witnessing peak. The best horror list ever. So without any further ado, let's get into it. The Thing. Now let me get started by saying The Thing is classic 70s body horror. Nothing's gonna beat that shit. Alright? And also, Among Us reference.
The Thing doesn't want to show itself. It wants to hide inside an imitation. It'll fight if it has to, but it's vulnerable out in the open. If it takes us over, then it has no more enemies. Nobody left to kill it. And then it's won.
Jokes aside, I think most people wanted something like The Thing within DBD. The Legion was supposedly a killer that was going to pretend to be a survivor. And I think if you are going to do that concept, do it with the monster transformations with The Thing. I mean, it is a classic movie. Alright, Malignant, more specifically Gabriel. Now, I know maybe you haven't seen the movie. Let me tell you, it's one of those more modern day movies where I would say gives that feel of a classic horror movie like Nightmare on Elm Street or even Child's Play, where you have this murderer, this killer, who has a personality, and that's Gabriel in this movie. And I think if you're going to compare all of modern horror, I mean, you could go Conjuring, you could, but I would say Malignant gives that classic horror movie feel with the villain. And if I could think of a power, I mean, I would focus on his lethality when it came to his movement, and how the fact that his body is literally backwards, so like all his joints are backwards. I don't know, it just, as you can see from these clips, Gabriel has a lot of speed, and Malignant was an alright movie enough that I wouldn't mind seeing more from this character. And then realistically, I mean, compared to Megan or, I don't know, like Insidious, I feel like Gabriel has the best chance of being an actual fun villain. And also, the twins need a friend, so come on. Mulder and fucking Scully. Now listen. I know it's been fucking years since the last fucking season came out. I know everybody would probably put like Supernatural or American Horror Story over this. Even The Walking Dead. I get it. But hear me out. Mulder and Scully are like the OG horror TV show where, you know, Monster of the Week, where they would face off against all these different kinds of threats. And I'm telling you, I think they deserve their roses. I think they deserve to be in DBD. I think that we should get the original actors to voice them. I know it's hard to get likeness rights. That's fine. Just give me the actors' fucking voices and we're good. Like, I would love to see Mulder and Scully. X-Files was generational. Like, I'm telling you, I wasn't even around when this shit aired, but this shit was so fucking good and had such a good vibe. I mean, the shit's been going on since 1993. Alright, please just bring these two in. Okay, so hear me out. SCP. I do think SCP should be in Dead by Daylight, but the reason I'm picking Containment Breach is I think legendary game status definitely belongs to this game. When it comes to the SCP community in general, I think most people would go back looking fondly on this game. I think every other game trying to be this game within the community. I think SCP has shown that it is well enough horror within its, wiki, And I will also say, like, you have legendary YouTubers who got their start playing this, like fucking Markiplier. Like, look at this shit. Even PewDiePie did this shit.
I'm out of here. What? Oh, you're lit on fucking.
YouTube and SCP go hand in hand with the Vulcan and Dr. Bob's, readings of the files, and even confinement being a very big thing back in the day. I think SCP deserves its roses. So 106 is my choice from Containment Breach. Now, I just think realistically, having his power be maybe he can like teleport, come out the ground and stuff. Maybe he can go through pallets. You have a lot more room to work around this. You could even have him do the, if he interacts with you, if he downs you, he sends you to his, mini pocket dimension. Maybe the survivor could be a scientist or a D class. These are just, examples. But I think 106 out of all the other SCPs within Containment Breach has the biggest likelihood of being a feasible killer within Dead by Daylight. And I think SCP should have some form of representation. And why not one of the better video games within the SCP series?
Fuck you, Andy!
So after like looking at all the other licensed chapters and original chapters, I think the only real sequel chapter that I want is a Chucky chapter where we could actually get Andy and even Kyle. I think it's kind of ridiculous we didn't get them. I mean, I get back in, the days where their movies came out, they were children. They were like, younger, but fun fact about those movies, they did not die and they survived. I understand this is Child's Play 2 Chucky, but I mean, come on, they come back as adults in the future. Bring me them. I want adult fucking Andy. I want them to fucking drop a pallet on Chucky and have mean voice lines. I want the Good Guy Doll Factory. Do it, behavior.
Hey, freak. This is a closed practice.
The only person who gets to torture my brother is me.
Jenna Ortega. Now, hear me out. I get it. She might not be everybody's first celebrity choice. Alright? I get it. She might seem a little overplayed. I think when it comes to her, she has done enough things within not just the horror genre, but like has that like spooky Halloween aspect to it. I mean, she was in both Scream movies, as a main character. She did Beetlejuice, which if you don't want to consider Beetlejuice horror, that's fine, but it has aspects of it, and if we're going to be real, Dead by Daylight has been moving away from just straight horror. She did Wednesday, which, come on, like, I don't have to say anything about that. And even she was in X with Mia Goth. Now, I would also accept Mia Goth, because Mia Goth is fucking dope. The only reason I'm putting Jenna Ortega ahead of her is because, let's be real, if you wanted people to, like, more people to play DBD, you would pick her. But I could have either.
I hate you! I hate you all so much! Lorraine!
Tomie. Now listen, Junji Ito is a horror manga artist and writer who has been in the game for a long time and is very popular in Japan. So if you're going to pick out of that genre, I'd pick him. I'd pick Tomie because she could be a survivor and killer. Let me explain. Tomie in the books is a person who is so beautiful, people have an uncontrollable urge to murder her and chop her up into bits and shit. That's where you have the survivor aspect. But in her books, she has a regeneration factor. So you can chop her up into these little bits and put her in a bag. And guess what? Those little bits will fuse together and grow into new Tomie. And because they're in such a confined space, they'll be mutated into a horrifying fucking monster. You know, and you can't control it. And they will kill. So I think as an aspect of survivor and killer, Tomie would be the best choice. I mean, they did it in Identity V. Let's see it in Dead by Daylight. The Walking Dead. Now, I know it's a little bit of a cheat. I'm picking the comic book and not the TV show, but let's be real. The reason people want the TV show, they want the actors. Alright, they want the likeness. Now, let's be real. When it comes to Dead by Daylight and their track record, they don't do that. I mean, look at Laurie Strode. Laurie Strode in the movies, Laurie Strode in game. Look at fucking Ellen Ripley. Ellen Ripley in the movies, Ellen Ripley in game. Maybe if I fucking squint, you know, it's the same person, but come on. We're not likely to get their likenesses. So if we want the best option, just go with the comics. Alright, let me try not to get copyright strike. Now, Billie Eilish. You might be wondering, why her out of everybody? I think, one, again, this goes back to the Jenna Ortega thing. Yeah, many people might be done with Billie Eilish at this point. Maybe she's overplayed. Yeah. Alright, but realistically, who would be most likely to get the most amount of new players into the game? If you can play Billie Eilish in a video game, I guarantee you're going to have some boost in player base. And realistically, if you look at most of her older music videos, like her right now isn't really horror aesthetic, but her older shit definitely had that like creepier horror vibe. You know, even the examples I'm showing here. So I don't think it's too out of the way to say, hey, Billie Eilish could be in Dead by Daylight. I think that'd be, you know, an easy slam dunk, and I definitely think she would be down for it. You know, let's be real. If she can do fucking Fortnite, she can be in Dead by Daylight.
You're not supposed to be here. At last, a true battle.
If only you knew the truth.
XCOM, more specifically The Chosen from XCOM. Now, if you don't know what XCOM is, it's a video game where aliens come down and humanity needs to fight back against them. Now, the fun fact about The Chosen is they were all once human, and they were taken by these alien overlords, and they're the main enemies in XCOM 2, the DLC at least. And they serve these fourth dimensional alien beings who basically have mutated their DNA to the point where they're no longer human. And they all have their own unique abilities, you know, like there's the hunter who's a master at long distance range and, you know, his whole thing is like, you know, kidnapping people. So I don't know, maybe you can have it where if you're the hunter version, you know, you can teleport to a hook, you know, that would be something. Or you can teleport people to a hook. I'm thinking a 3-in-1 killer where you can play as all three and you swap between them in a wheel rotation. You could also do the assassin where, you know, you can go invisible for a limited amount of time and your whole thing is more melee based with your weaponry. And then I'm thinking for the warlock, you know, he's going to be more, okay, aura reading. Like if you're a certain distance away, I can see your aura, or I can even like, you know, do things around that. Having a 3-in-1 killer like that would be fucking perfect, and I think you can make it where it's not too overpowered and balance it correctly. And I definitely think out of, you know, non-horror, but it still has like horrific aspects, I want to see what behavior would be able to do with that concept and try to fit it within their game. Alright, with the Spider-Man from the Tricksters chapter. Now, if you don't know, there's a little short video that's playing right now, and within it, there's this spider-like creature, this half-human, half-spider creature that they already have the design for. You know, and people have wanted a spider killer for a while, so I feel like them not using this fully designed creature that's already in-game, and, you know, people have already wanted, is slacking on behavior's part, for one. Two, I mean, are you going to tell me when you look at this thing, it does not belong in DBD? Are you going to tell me that, you know, this thing right here, this thing isn't peak design? Come on now. I want my Spider-Man. That's right. I want another Left 4 Dead chapter of some kind. It doesn't need to be anything specific. Do I want more skins for the other survivors within Left 4 Dead for Bill? Yes. Would I want just a killer chapter? I mean, yes, that's cool too. Would I want a map? Like, it doesn't really matter. You could just give me a survivor chapter, a killer only chapter, a full on chapter. I think anything Left 4 Dead related would be better than nothing. And I feel like what we have received from behavior, even though, hey, you know, I love the fact that all Bill's cosmetics are free, you know, the biggest problem is, you know, it's just Bill, nobody else. And I get it, you know, they don't want to spend money on a license that they can't charge for, because that's how Valve works. But I mean, the fact that we have a Left 4 Dead rep, but nothing really relevant to Left 4 Dead other than Bill. You know, you don't have the other survivors, you don't have the other zombies, like, not even, like, real charms of them, okay? I feel like we're missing out on an experience with Left 4 Dead. And I think Left 4 Dead definitely deserves another, like, go around. Either give me another chapter with these characters, give me another, like, another try with it, I guess. Give me a real Left 4 Dead chapter. He's been in DBD for so fucking long that some people even forget. But, like, I want to see these fucking mutant zombies. I want to see, like, at least not just, like, outfits, but actual, like, legendary skins. And there is the greatest list you've ever seen. If you think you did better, comment down below.